Guess who filmed a one branded tutorial the other day and now can't find where the footage is? I thought it was on this SD card, but apparently it's not, and I don't know where my other one is. So instead I thought, what better way to bring you a tutorial where it's just my everyday makeup look. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot of makeup. I'm not the kind of girl where I'm like a little bit of concealer and lip balm and then I'm good. I'm definitely not that girl. Wish I was, but I'm not. I am a full face, give me 3 different types of powder, well 2 different types to be fair, and a full coverage foundation kind of girl. I do have a little bit of bronzer through the crease, so all of this is super easy, and I tell you all which brushes and also my skincare that I use because I feel like they play a major role in having your makeup look good and last long. For the first few clips, my microphone decided not to work, so what I'm saying might not match up with the words that are coming out of my mouth. I am going to try and make it work when I edit this back, so can we all just pray to the makeup and the camera gods that it has actually worked. Links to everything are going to be down below. I'm not going to ramble anymore. I feel like this intro is already about 84 years long. Let's get straight into it. First thing I want to show you is skin prep. I'm going to be really quick when I do this. I've already done my skin prep this morning, and if you're not skin prepping then I don't know what to tell you. Skin prep is the best thing when you're putting makeup on. It makes your makeup look better, last longer. This is the Caudalie Vino Clean little toner that I've been using recently. I picked this up from ASOS. So good if you've got dry skin. I came out of the shower this morning and I just like had loads of peeling dry skin on my forehead and not really sure why. And then this is new. This is the Alpha Arbutin 2 Discoloration Care from COSRX. I'm not entirely sure what this does. It's got something acid and niacinamide in there. I've literally used this twice. It's meant to help with discoloration and dark spots, so I'm giving that a whirl. And then eye cream is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream. This I've trialled for a couple of weeks now. It really helps with the blue tones and the purple tones underneath your eyes. And then moisturiser. I switched between these two. The first one is the Laneige Water Bank. I love how hydrating this is. I'm on the dregs at this point. I need to pick up a new one. Absolutely worth the money. And then the second one is the Omega Water Cream from the Inky List. This is really thin and lightweight. It's perfect for underneath makeup because it sinks straight into the skin. And then I do also have the Laneige lip mask on here as well. Laneige lip masks, 10 out of 10. I do kind of want to try nipple cream though, so apparently that's really good. I get horrendously dry and chapped lips. I'm not really sure why. I'm probably dehydrated at this point. Drink your water, girls. Kind of need to take my own advice. Girls, I've just realised that my microphone wasn't plugged in. Just didn't want to pick up any sound, which is perfect. Fingers crossed. Everything's fixed. Foundation of choice today is the Maybelline 30 Hour Lumi Matte Foundation. If you've got oily skin, I promise you now this will be your best friend. And I don't just mean like a little bit of oil, you get a little bit dewy throughout the day. What I mean is you end up like a frying pan basically, like me. That is basically how I end up at the end of the day. I've got the shade 098, which does look quite light, but I always find it's easier to deepen up the foundation with a little bit of bronzer instead of trying to go in and lighten it. And then once I've bronzed, it will just match my neck and my fake tan. It is my perfect shade for when I'm not fake tanned. My concealer of choice is the Kosas concealer in the shade 0.7C. We're just gonna pray that my camera and my microphone actually work together because this is a shambles at this point, but I've already lost one makeup tutorial and we're not losing another. I'm gonna use this brush from ISO Clean. It's 015. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's literally like the perfect kitten paw, so it just gets perfectly underneath your eyes and then blends everything out effortlessly. Like you can see, it just hugs the inner corner of my eye. I always feel like brushes play a big role when it comes to makeup as well. Always take my concealer over my eyelids. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of bronzer through there later on. Bronzer I've been loving is from Beauty Bay. This is only £5. I feel like I'm using some good affordable products recently, which is nice because makeup's expensive as it is, you know what I mean? We don't need to go out and just spend so much money on makeup when we've got products like this out there. This is in the shade Walnut. I tried to do a video, well I did do a video on this and lost the footage somehow. Hopefully I'll find it. But it's got like a moussey consistency to it, which is what I was trying to show you there. Usually, when you've got a liquid, it stands up as a peak on the end of the applicator, whereas this one doesn't. So hopefully you can see that there is that moussey consistency to it. I just whack all of this on, I'm not gonna lie. On the cheekbones, forehead, nose. Sometimes I'll put it in the crease, sometimes I'll just use the excess that's on my brush. And then the brush that I like to use for this is from Peaches and Cream. So it's not the PC21, because that's what this one is here. It's more dense and a little bit smaller than the PC21, so it just keeps it in that area perfectly where you've placed it, and it literally melts into the skin. Super beginner friendly, so if you're someone that's just getting into makeup as well, I think you'll really like these. You can put as little as you want on, you can build it up. I always like to go in with cream products and then powder products on top. I feel like not only do they emphasise it, but they make it last a lot longer. If you're comfortable just doing one or the other, then definitely try that out. If you're new to makeup, you might not want to layer products just yet. I love bronzer on the nose, not even for contouring, just so you can add a little bit of colour, because if you don't put any on the nose and you have on the outer portion of your face, I feel like your nose either disappears or looks a little bit out of proportion. Does that make sense? Blush, I've got two options that I always switch between. So we've got Bubblegum from Huda Beauty. I really like these. These are perfect to put over the top of powders as well. Or we've got another Beauty Bay Little Moment. This is in the shade Spring. I think I'm going to use this one today because she's nice and affordable. These are either £5 or £4.50 on top of my cheekbones and on my nose. You can put a little bit on the chin here and then right at the top of the forehead. Kind of looks like you've been in the sun that way. And then the brush that I'm going to use is, again, from ISO Clean. It's the 013 brush. It's very similar to the one that I was just using from Peaches and Cream, but a tiny bit smaller. There's not really anything between the two. I would like to use the Peaches and Cream one for my blush, but because this one's really similar, I just use this one instead. This is also a really nice brush to use if you're going to put your blush on top of powder. Like, just work it into the back of your hand with the product and it just sits so nicely on top. It blends it in for you without picking up any product. I think that my blush is a little bit too far down on my cheeks, and I'll just take this brush I was using earlier for my concealer and then just push that in, and then you can see it all just marries up and melts together. Powder! I love the Huda Beauty powder, love, love, love. But I also really like the Jordana Tisha powder that you can get from, well, not just from TikTok Shop, to be fair, you can also get this on her website. This is in the shade Pearl Sugar, and then I've got Pound Cake from Huda, which is going everywhere. The shades are very, very similar, so if you like Pound Cake from Huda, you might want to try Pearl Sugar from Jordana. I'm going to use Pearl Sugar today. I'm sure loads of people know this, but if you don't, then this has got a pressed and a loose powder side to it. I'm going to use the loose powder first. I'm going to use a Trigwell puff for this. I like to pounce the puff into the loose powder and then pat the excess off. Just make sure that you've not got too much powder underneath the eyes then. This powder is pretty brightening as well, I will say that. So you don't really need to go in with maybe a lighter coloured concealer. You can see the difference, like how it sets it and how brightening it is. This is personal preference, but because I'm so oily and I can't stand the feeling of anything wet being on my face, I do like to go in with a powder foundation afterwards. I've been loving two. This is what's always on my desk, so I just gravitate towards this the most. This is the MAC Cosmetics Powder Foundation in NC35. The Kylie Cosmetics ones are so, so good as well. They're a bit more of like a silkier feel, I want to say. You can kind of feel this one on your face a little bit more, but it's nothing that's like uncomfortable. And I basically put that all on the perimeter of my face, especially where I'm going to bronze. So back on top of the cheeks, and then also the forehead. I can do this makeup, I want to say, in about 15 minutes, 10 minutes if I really need to rush. One of those makeup looks where I've just got it nailed to a T. Oh, the brush I use for that, by the way, is the Ultimate Powder Brush from Real Techniques. Any big fluffy powder brush will do, to be honest. For bronzer, I'm going to use my tried and true Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade Medium. So funny, me and Dan's mum actually got each other this for Christmas. And then the brush that I'm going to use is the Morphe M530. If anyone's looking at Morphe brushes and MAC brushes, Morphe is the exact same as MAC. The only difference is the price point. They look the same, they feel the same, the price point's different, and that's literally about it. I basically put this a little bit, I'm not going to be too precise with my bronzer. I'll start from the top of my ear and then go down to like the corner of my eye here, does that make sense? And then blend it out. And the best way I like to pick up my bronzer is I really load up my brush with it and then tap off all of the excess and then do a stamping motion. The reason I like to do a stamping motion is it doesn't lift any product from underneath. And then you can just be a little bit messier with this. This is why this brush is perfect, because it's not too large and in charge. And then once you've done a few patting motions, you can then just do a few circular motions and buff it into the skin. And then for the forehead, I literally just go around the perimeter. Put it a little bit on the temples as well, just so it blends into the cheekbones, and then pat over the rest, just so it blends in to the rest of my forehead. A little bit on the nose as well. If I feel like I've put too much on the nose, and I'll just go back in with my powder brush and just blend that out. And then whatever's left over on my brush, I'll just take that really quickly to the crease of my eyes. I feel like it just makes everything look nice and cohesive. This is perfect as well because you literally don't need to use or buy any more brushes. I feel like blush is always personal preference, but I love a lot of blush. This one's from Too Faced and it's in the shade Candy Clouds. This kind of has like a blurring finish on the skin. And then the brush that I use with it is just a random one from P. Louise. I picked this up on TikTok Shop when she was doing a little bundle. P. Louise is also really good for makeup brushes, I find. She actually does like a big bundle of them. So they're meant to be £200, right? If you go on TikTok, when they've got the sales on, like the Black Friday sales or something, they're at least, I want to say £40, and I know that because I bought them when they were £40. I was like, I am not paying £200 for a set of makeup brushes. I put the blush on the top of my cheek, so right about here. I want to say like the corner of my eye, and then when I'm blending it out, I tap it on the apples of my cheeks. I always tap off the excess on my brush as well, just ensures that you don't go in with too much product, and then whatever's left over, I'm going to dust that over my nose, a little bit on the chin, and then a tiny bit on the forehead as well. Really quickly, because I always find that I forget doing this and I think to myself, why have I not done this? I'm going to take a little bit more translucent powder and just put it around my mouth. 2 smile lines, well obviously 2. And makeup just likes to congregate in there. So I always find putting a little bit extra powder on really just kind of stops that from happening or prevents it from happening for a longer period of time. Mascara, I honestly would not go out and spend a boatload of money on mascara. If you are looking at a high-end mascara, I'd say there's one from Lancome. I think it's the Idol Lash and also the MAC Giga Black Play Extended Lash Mascara. That's a tongue twister. I think them mascaras are really good, but this is always going to be my ride or die. This is the Sky High from Maybelline. A nice plastic one to it. They come in a variety of shades. You can get brown, purple, blue, pink. This is in the shade black. I'm going to really quickly do my lashes off camera because I like to get really close to the root, and then I'll show you what they look like. But before I go, the best way I've found to put my mascara on is to get right at the root and then almost wiggle it as you bring the mascara wand back out. And then already that's how my lashes are looking. I'm going to come back, show you how they look, and then if you're worried about this on the lid, like all the mascara and everything, I'll show you how I get rid of that without taking away the makeup. If I zoom you in really quickly, hopefully you can see why that mascara is my favourite. I tend to miss my bottom lashes. I just feel like for an everyday look, it's personal preference really, isn't it? I feel like they can look a bit bottom heavy. Does that make sense? I'm going to use a little clean dry spoolie to take this off. The key is to just make sure that the mascara on your lids has dried. And you can literally just scratch it away and it's like it was never there. For lips, I've got 2 lip liners that I go between. I've got the H&B lip liner in shade 04 and then the Morphe lip liner in Backseat Love. This one is a lot more natural looking, I'm going to say. I don't necessarily overline when I'm doing this, but I do try and accentuate the Cupid's bow a little bit more. You can absolutely leave it like this, but I've got a lipstick that I've been loving wearing recently. It's from MAC and it's in the shade Honey Love. Looking at that is actually brushed. You can really tell how much I like this lipstick. I think this is meant to be a satin matte. It's very comfortable to wear. It's not drying on the lips. And I just put that directly on top of the lip liner. This pairs perfectly with Backseat Love from Morphe. Recently, I think I've been more of a matte kind of girl and not necessarily a gloss. The Maybelline Lifter glosses, if you are looking for one by the way, 10 out of 10, they're really, really good. And I'm pretty sure they're like £8 or something. Last thing I'm going to do, this is a step I really don't like to miss, I'm going to put the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle just on the top of my cheeks. I take a big fluffy brush for this and I'm not too precise, I just basically put it directly on top. I feel like I've just said this is the last step, but we've got one more. One more and then we're done. But yeah, just put this on top, basically where the blush is, a little bit on the apples of the cheeks and then on top of my nose as well. Because I've used that Maybelline foundation and I know that it lasts throughout the day, I can add a little bit of glow back into my skin with a powder highlight, and then I know that when my oils do come through, because they're going to do at some point, it's not going to look crazy and I'm not going to look greasy basically. You can go as little or as heavy-handed with this. I just love how that looks from the side. And then setting spray. I absolutely love finding setting sprays. It's one of the best things about makeup in my opinion. Like this and colour correcting, love it. This is the Too Faced Makeup Insurance 18-hour wear. This, right, I was saying on TikTok, I'm not sure if this has got some form of like powder particles in there because it doesn't change how your makeup looks, but it locks it in, I'm not joking, for so long. I would fully agree, I've not even tested it for 18 hours, but I would fully agree that it will hold up for 18 hours. That's how much confidence I have in this. It literally locks in place everything on your face, and it's got a really fine mist to it as well. I always forget how nice this smells. It kind of smells like holiday. all Too Faced products smell nice. And this is my finished everyday makeup look. I know it's a lot of products. I know a lot of people have probably watched this and thought, how on earth are you applying that much for everyday wear? But it's just what works for me. It's just what I like. Again, it's personal preference. And I know that this makeup, again, because I've got oily skin, I know that this is going to last throughout the day for me. Sometimes I'll take a powder puff out with me and a little bit of translucent powder, and that is literally it. And obviously my lip combo. I feel like lip combo, when you're out all day and you're eating and drinking, they are the first thing to just disappear. But these are all the products that I've been loving for God knows how long now. I feel like I've been switching a few products out here and there, like the blushers, concealers and stuff like that, but these 100% ride or dies. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you did like this video, make sure you smash it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below for more. Links to everything are going to be down below on my LTK as well. And I'll see you all in a brand new video. Bye!